Close Governor Eric Greitens' tenure in Missouri has been marked by his ongoing scandal regarding his actions in 2015, during the early stages of his campaign. He faces a felony charge in St. Louis on suspicion of taking a photograph of a woman with whom he had an affair without her permission while she was partially naked, blindfolded and restrained in the basement of Greitens' home. Will Schmitt, news leader Jefferson City, Mo, Missouri's governor, oversaw the transfer to his campaign of a list of donors who earlier had given money to a veterans charity he founded, according to a legislative report released Wednesday. Eric Greitens, a Republican elected in November 2016, received the list from the Mission Continues in 2014 so he could call top supporters and explain that he was stepping down as chief executive, according to the report from a special State House investigatory committee. Greitens, who switched from the Democratic Party in 2015 to run for governor, later directed campaign aides to work off the charity's list to raise money for his gubernatorial run, even though he had signed an agreement never to disclose its confidential donor information. One of Greitens' former campaign staffers, Danny Lobb, testified that he was duped into taking the fall as the governor's campaign tried to explain how it had gotten the list of top donors. Greitens last year settled a complaint with the Missouri Ethics Commission and amended previous filings to name Lobb as the source of the list. April 20, Missouri Gov indicted again, accused of stealing charity donor list. April 18, Missouri Gov. Eric Greitens asks court to stop AG from investigating him. April 17, Missouri Gov may face criminal charges for campaign fundraising list. Greitens' settlement agreement made me sick because it was misrepresented, and because I was in a round of news stories falsely portraying what happened, Lobb said in the report. In an email Wednesday to the Springfield News-Leader, Greitens' former campaign manager and current senior advisor, Austin Chambers, denied misleading Lobb in an attempt to cover up wrongdoing. He called Lobb a disgruntled former employee whose testimony is inaccurate. I was not involved with or employed by the Greitens campaign during the time in question surrounding the Mission Continues donor list. I was first made aware of the alleged issue regarding the Mission Continues donor list in the fall of 2016 when it was raised by the Associated Press. In the course of responding to a complaint filed by the former state Democratic Party chairman, the campaign found that the donor list in question was in Lobb's possession when the campaign was formed. To say that I provided false information, or misled Lobb to go along with false information, is absolutely untrue. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, a Democrat, last month charged Greitens with a felony on suspicion of stealing a donor list from the Mission Continues. Her charging decision came days before the statute of limitations on the alleged offense would have run out. Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley, a Republican who also is running to unseat Democratic Sen. Claire McCaskill in the November election, accused Greitens of criminal wrongdoing in using the internal donor list from the Mission Continues, which Greitens founded in 2007 after serving as a Navy SEAL. He gave his evidence to Gardner, who also is prosecuting a felony invasion of privacy charge against Greitens that is scheduled to go to trial in less than 2 weeks. On February 22, a St. Louis grand jury indicted Greitens on felony invasion of privacy after Gardner presented evidence that Greitens had made nude or partially nude photos without the consent of a woman with whom he was having an affair. He then was accused of transmitting those images via computer. April 17, Republicans leaders call on Missouri Gov. Eric Greitens to resign. April 12, not all politicians say Greitens should resign after reports revelations. Greitens has called efforts to investigate his past and his character a political witch hunt. Greitens' popularity has dropped amid his multiplying scandals, though recent polling indicates that a majority of Missouri Republicans continue to support him as he faces calls from the left and the right for his resignation or impeachment. The release of the legislature's investigation does a tremendous disservice to the U.S. and Missouri constitutions by undercutting Greitens' right to due process. Greitens' campaign lawyer, Catherine Hanaway, said in a statement, if a witness made an allegation, it was accepted as true and republished. Hanaway said, April 11, woman tells lawmakers that Missouri Gov slapped her during affair. April 11, after Missouri lawmakers report, McCaskill says Greitens should resign. She contended that the investigatory committee's chairman, GOP Rep. Jay Barnes of Jefferson City, never allowed Greitens' campaign to present its side of the story in testimony or documents. If the committee had heard from the campaign, it would have learned that Mr. Lobb had possession of the list in early 2015, that the campaign was not formed until then, and that Mr. Lobb was the top staff person on the campaign when it began, Hanaway's statement said. This report, like one released April 11 dealing with his extramarital affair, lays forth facts without drawing conclusions about impeachment. Feb. 26. Amid investigation, sex scandal, Greitens cites Breitbart, blames Soros. Feb. 23. Eric Greitens cancels plans to attend governor's meeting after indictment. Federal law bars 501(c)(3) charities such as the Mission Continues from intervening in political campaigns on behalf of candidates, but Greitens' lawyer has suggested Greitens was entitled to the list because he built it, donor by donor, friend by friend, a spreadsheet of more than 500 donors who had given more than $1,000 to the Mission Continues, sent via email May 8, 2014, to Greitens and a few other employees of the charity, was not just limited to Greitens' friends, family and supporters, according to the report. Crystal Taylor Proctor, a former The Mission Continues employee who worked for Greitens' personal company and Greitens' gubernatorial campaign, said multiple times that Greitens had emphasized to her the importance of the TMC donor list to support future political fundraising efforts, according to her testimony in the report. Feb. 23. Missouri Governor Eric Greitens is no peeping Tom, attorneys argue. Feb. 22. Greitens indicted for allegedly taking compromising photo of woman. On April 22, 2015, she sent the donor list to Greitens' campaign finance director, Meredith Gibbons, with the understanding that it would be used for political fundraising, according to the report. Roy Temple, a former Missouri Democratic Party chairman, filed the initial ethics complaint about the donor list that led to the April 2017 settlement with the Missouri Ethics Commission. Earlier this year, Temple filed a second ethics complaint alleging that Greitens had lied as part of that settlement. Follow Will Schmitt on Twitter, at @WS_Missouri Air or share this story, https://usat.ly/2he4by.